Man, brand new Noisecult right there. Seraphic Wizard, man. Holy shit. That was badass, man. That was really, really, really cool. You know what? Let's call these motherfuckers up right the fuck now and see what the fuck is going on in their world, man.
Motherfuckers up right the fuck now.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Don, what's going on, man?
I'm just kicking back, enjoying the show.
Man.
And it was cool to hear Trouble right before us. 'Cause I love that band.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. So, the label sent me over it was 2 albums this week they sent me. They're doing reissues of, and one of them they added a whole live album along with it. It was amazing, man.
I saw that they were doing a shitload of the reissues. I didn't know what the bonus stuff was.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that is cool. I think the one that they did that had the end of my days on it, I thought that was out of print for quite a while once they had once Rick Rubin's label and all that shit changed or whatever. So I hadn't seen that album in forever, but
yeah, it's the live. Yeah. It's the live in Stockholm. I believe there's a video of it on YouTube. I think there's been out there for a long time, but oh man, it sounds so good.
Yeah, that was fucking cool. I got to see them in the 80s one time, opening for King Diamond, which was cool as fuck. And then I actually, they played, I don't know if you remember this, they played the Muse here in Nashville, I don't know, like 10 years ago, whatever. And we got to be the opening band for them. So I was fucking geeking out just because we got to do it. And it's a quick, funny story for that. I get there early, unload our gear, right? And all the rest of my band's out dicking around doing something. They weren't quite there yet. So I'm hanging out, and their sound guy goes, "Hey, man, you look a guitar player." I said, "Yeah, I am for the opening band." I goes, "Oh, hey, do me a favor. None of my dudes are here. Help sound check their stuff." So I got to go up and play, all the guitars and stuff and their bass and shit. And I was like, "This is unbelievable, man. I'm getting the Jams of Trouble stuff." And I'm playing and rocking out. Dude's like, "All right, dude, give me a solo on that guitar real quick. Kick the wah pedal on so I can check it." I'm like, "Okay, cool." As soon as I finished, I shit you not, man, I put the guitar down. I'm like, "All right, thanks a lot, dude." My dudes come walking in. I'm like, "You motherfuckers. You've been here 5 minutes earlier and taking a picture of me playing through Troubles, White Flying Bee. I'm up here rocking out." No, none of that happened.
Yeah.
So it only lives in my mind.
That is fucking awesome, man. That is, yeah, dude. That's one of those moments right there, man, that you never forget.
Oh no, it was killer. And it was still at that point, I'm pretty, Eric was in the band. It was when they first kind of got back together. I think it was maybe 2007 or 8, and it had most of the original dudes or the main dudes in it. So it was pretty cool to see it for sure.
Oh yeah. So tell us, man, what is going on in the world of Noisecult? I know you're a busy dude, man. You do a lot of stuff, but what's going on with the band?
Well, for now, we're finally getting ready to go out and do a tour here in about another week. We're going to go head out west to California. So we haven't ever ventured out there before. We've done regional dates and stuff, through the South and then up in Ohio and some stuff like that. But we've never had the opportunity to travel out west. So when we signed up with Metal Assault Records this summer, who helped put out this Seraphic Wizard album, they're based out of LA. So Andrew, our label head, he was like, "Man, you guys, think we want to come out here?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, we want to come out there. We want to play as much as we can around, like everything else, around our jobs when you get off and all that stuff." So we're able to carve out a block of time here in April, and then he set up a couple shows in California. I got a friend of mine in Memphis who was able to hook us up so we can kick our date off there, and then kind of go down through Texas with some bands, and then Arizona and out to California and stuff. It's just kind of a short run. I think we're doing maybe 9 shows or something, 7 or 9 shows total on this. But at least we get out there, get our feet wet and getting our first foray into touring out west. And then when we get back, we all have to go back to work for a week, and then we got about 3 or 4 more shows in May, regionally, Murfreesboro here and some stuff, and then I got to head out for another gig for a couple.
Oh, I think we lost him, man.
Oh man, I got disconnected.
Okay, well, you were telling us about heading out west, and
Yeah, so the quick thing was our label was based out in L.A., and he was able to, he booked us on a couple of gigs out there. And then, so we decided that we could get a couple of weeks off of work and booked about 9 shows total, heading on out to California, Texas, Arizona, maybe New Mexico, a couple of shows in California, heading back here then, about a week or 2 off, going back to work and whatnot. And then we got a couple shows here, Murfreesboro, Nashville, some stuff there, maybe Louisville. So a few things, and then I've got to head out to work for another month or so, and then hopefully when I get finished with that, I'll be back to do some more Noisecult stuff. So,
hell yeah, man! Any chance of you guys coming to play in Memphis?
We are starting in Memphis. Joey Killingsworth, a buddy of mine from Josephus and the George Jonestown Massacre, are cool enough to host us out there at Growlers, and we will be there on the 15th of April, which is next Friday. So that's kind of the kickoff for this run. And from there, then we head on down to Texas for a couple shows, then up to New Mexico, Arizona, and then out to California. But yeah, believe it or not, it's our first time playing Memphis. I'm stoked after all these years. We just never had a chance to do it, so I'm pretty excited.
Fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah. I might have to do something to make sure that I can get out there, man, because that would be cool to see you guys live for sure.
It's a killer place we're playing, and Joey's band is always great. Those dudes are killer. I mean, they've come out here a bunch of times. We play with them so many times over the years, so I'm excited to head out to play on their turf,
Man, it is so cool to see how far you guys have come too, man. Like, I've been following you for a while, man, because one of the dudes that I used to jam with, Vinny Duty, played drums with you guys a long time ago, and he was actually the one that turned me on to you because he told me about it when he went to Nashville. He was like, "Yeah, I'm playing with these guys, Noisecult," and I was like, "Who's that, man?" And I started checking you out, and right away, man, when I heard those using the wah pedal on the bass, immediately, man.
Well, it's crazy. So, yeah, man, dude, that was so long ago. It was that was in the early stages of when we first kind of got together. It's like I formed the band with Bo Hayward, who's a buddy of mine from college, and we kind of had a weird version of this band in college in the 90s. But then he moved, and I got a job, and we didn't really get to pursue it. And then early 2000s, he and I put it together, and a buddy of ours named Kurt Petro joined drums, and we kind of started kicking around some stuff and wrote a bunch of songs. Kurt got a job playing in a southern rock band with one of the dudes from Skinner, and he went on to play in Blackfoots and do some other cool stuff. So he's done pretty well for himself. And Vinny came in, and he did the first record with us because we were just about to enter the studio when Kurt had to leave. So Vinny quick jumped in, learned the songs, and did that. And then I think he was with us maybe a few months. We had a lot of changes in the early days, which you probably remember, just because it was you're starting a band and you're trying to find people that mess with you musically and all this kind of stuff. And then things changed where Bo didn't play bass anymore. He just wanted to sing, and we were totally lucky to score Sean Kay, who we knew from the Cretan Grims, a punk band that we played with tons of times. And the dude's fucking phenomenal. There's nobody like this dude in my mind. So Sean and I asked him if he wanted to join. He said yeah, and he's the one that brings all the cool, crazy wah pedal, fuzzy bass stuff, and all the funny shit that we can dream up in our heads. He can actually play. Quick funny story is I wrote this song called Just Another Blackout, very Motorhead-ish kind of song. Wanted Bo to play this bass line on it that I wrote, and he could never really figure it out, and I ended up playing the guitar. It was okay. Sean joins the band. I show Sean the riff. He rips it out in 20 seconds, exactly what my brain was thinking it was going to sound like. And Bo looks at me and goes, is that what I'm supposed to play? You're a fucking asshole. And just started laughing at me because realizing that none of us can play this except for Sean could play something like that. So that dude brings a whole crazy element, which once he joined, it really started forming what Noisecult was. And then Bo and me and Sean really could kind of write what we envisioned the band. The first couple records were our feet just trying to figure out how to write songs. And some of those are really good songs, and we still kind of have versions of them today that we will play. But then the nucleus of three of us did it, and then, as you know, it's Bo was around for a few years, did a handful of records, and had an injury to his spine, and it ruined his vocal cords and stuff, and he couldn't sing, and that's why he left the band. And Mike Lithick joined from Mind Splitter, a longtime friend of ours, similar voice to Bo. We love the dude, got along great, same musical interests. He was a phenomenal writer with me and Sean, kind of fit right in with Bo. And then did a couple records with him, and then Patrick Nickel, a buddy of ours, who had moved out of town, came back, joined, and that completely changed his band again in another direction. Much like Sean's addition and kicking us up a level, Patrick's ability and the stuff, crazy shit that he can play that's in my brain is just a whole new level. That's what made this record to me. I don't even know if we would have done a record and wouldn't have been this good had Patrick not joined. And Sean and Mike and I say it all the time going, this record, that these songs are good, they're great because of Patrick.
Man.
So,
yeah,
it's always an evolution.
Listening to this record, man, you know, one of the things that definitely sticks out is the guitar tones that are recorded here, man. It sounds so fucking I don't even know it sounds live, man. It sounds really, really good. Like, for all the gearheads out there, man, because I know they're listening right now and they want to know. Can you tell us, like, give us a rundown of some of the gear and stuff that you were using to get these tones?
You will laugh. It's fairly simplistic. Like, I'm not a gadget guy in the sense of having tons of cool shit. Not because I'm against it, only because I'm not that smart enough to use it. The biggest difference on this record, like, so since the early 2000s, I stumbled across a kind of combo that fit my kind of sound and became what my guitar basically was built out of. I use a Mesa Boogie triple rectifier, which is probably a little bit more firepower than I need, but that head combined with an orange cabinet is what I started playing in like around 2001, 2002. And it just gave me this real dark, deep sound, but with enough gain and punch. I didn't even use pedals back then except for like a flanger and some spacey stuff and like a wah pedal. And then over time I started adding more pedals for fun, but that's been the basic rig that I've taken in the studio on every record. And we've tried a handful of different, like, you know, mics and different things and a couple different orange cabinets, but basically it's pretty much that. It's the Boogie and a 412 orange cabinet. I usually use Gibson guitars for the most part, just because that's what I am comfortable playing. I've got a couple of Les Pauls that I use. On this record, if you notice some of the solos, I really tried to get a different feel through most of it. And like on the one song called Running Wild, Running Free, it's kind of an homage to Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. I was joking with Patrick one day going, man, I love this song Running Wild from Judas Priest from Hellbent for Leather. And then if you listen to that song, The Wicker Man from Iron Maiden is basically, it's like they kind of took that riff, the idea of it, and wrote The Wicker Man kind of off that picking style. And I was like, and I rarely do this where I'm like, I'm going to play something like that. But I was like, man, I love this riff. It's so cool. That picking stuff. So I want to come up with something that's not stealing their riff, but like with that kind of picking. So he and I sat down and we wrote this song that had that vibe to it. And then I wrote a kind of the lyrics or more or less that kind of like, you know, running free kind of song that Maiden might have written. And so the point was, I want the guitar solos to be like Iron Maiden-esque. I want to be like two different dudes playing solos, and how can I do this? So I used a Strat on the first solo to try to capture a Dave Murray tone, and I tried to play in his style. And then the second half of the solo, I used a Les Paul, both in like standard tuning, and to try to capture more of an Adrian Smith's feel. And it's like, so that's really like, that's kind of where some of the changes in the nuances came from on this record, is more the guitars that I picked than the actual gear I used, because I didn't change any of the stuff. You know, it's like wah pedal in a couple songs. There's a couple that have like a flanger on it. Half the album is in C standard tuning, like the full guitars in C, so that gives it more of a thicker sound, like a corrosion conformity kind of sound to it. And then a couple of songs like War Eternal, which is, I think that's in E flat, you know, so nothing too crazy, you know, so I don't know if it answers your question. It's not very gearhead.
No, that's
driven, but it's like, that's the nuances of how I got some of the different sounds.
That totally fucking answers it, dude. Yeah, and yeah, man. Well, you know what? You can't fucking beat that fucking distortion from a Mesa rectifier, man. It's just, those amps are just so good. But then it pushes a lot of air, man. I remember when the stuff I had before, it wasn't really doing it for me, and I had Mesa cabinets and other stuff Marshall had. And when I changed to that, I'll remember I was playing the Rutledge, and I put the cabinet, because the thing about it, you know, they sit on the ground. There's no wheels on it. You just place the cabinet on the ground, so you feel the damn thing vibrate. I remember being at that place and just hitting a chord and had that thing, you know, it wasn't even on like 3, but it was so loud, it shook the stage. And I remember Matt McElroy, who was our producer for all our records, was drumming that show with us at the time, and just looked over at me and started laughing. And we were both like all giddy, like little kids, going, hee hee hee, listen to that fucking tone in this thing, man, shaking this room. And from that point, I'm like, I'm never going back, dude. This is all I'll play through forever. Yeah, I mean, you don't even really need a fucking, you don't even really need an overdrive in front of it, to be honest with you. Like it just, it does the job.
Yeah, I don't use one, actually. All the distortion comes from the head in the cabinet. I will put on, I have, I don't use an overdrive, but I have MXR like distortion pedal that sometimes I'll kick on for leads just to give it a bit of a different sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually mainly it's I have a boost pedal depending on if we have enough. So we have Jay Thompson is a guitar player that will get up and jam with us at times, and you know, he can't do all the shows with us, but as we start going forward, I think we'd like to have a second guitar player, being Jay, join us for as many shows he can do. So with that, I've added a couple extra powers to kind of blend in, pedals to blend in with another guitar player. But yeah, when it's just me and Sean, man, it's pretty much, you know, I'll kick on the flange pedal and the wah pedal and maybe the distortion pedal for a solo or two here. But yeah, it's pretty much all the power of the head. Things are fucking loud as hell. Doesn't need any help.
Man, and you know, it's cool to hear you talk about your influences too, like on some of the stuff, because reading all the different reviews that have been coming out about this record, man, you know, there's been so many different takes and ideas from different people when they're listening to it that are just so really in depth, you know, like people are, and that's really cool, man. Like people are really listening to this record and digging deep and finding different things in it that they think about, you know what I mean?
Totally. I mean, I appreciate any of the reviews, even the ones that are kind of like, you know, give us a bad point or here or there. It's interesting to me because I like to hear what people think, good or bad. But I would say, like, you know, 9 out of 10 reviews that we've gotten so far have been, you know, positive or really super, like, people excited about it. The last one that you had forwarded to me, so it was great, from Jenny Tate. She had given us a 10 out of 10 on this thing, and she really took the time to go through each song and give, like, what she liked about it. She didn't just go, yeah, this song rocks, it's cool. She, like, broke down what I liked about this. I like the lyrics on this one song. She picked up on the Iron Maiden kind of tribute thing on that one song. She picked up on things about the solos or stuff about the vocals or the style that Mike was singing in. So I thought that was really great. And a lot of people have done that. I've noticed, I guess one thing that I find really fascinating is when people review it, how everyone has their different songs that stick out to them. Some people really love, like, Lords of Eden, you know, and then other people are like, man, the instrumental track Festiata was really my favorite thing. So to me, it's always cool to see what gravitates towards people.
Yeah, it you know, it was really cool to see what Jenny had to say about it. I know because like first she just reviewed the video and just that song, and then she listened to the whole album. She came back to me. She was like, "Wait a second, I got to do the whole album because this thing is, you know, just there's so much going on. I got to do it." And I was like, "Hell yeah, you know, go for it," you know, like. And
I got to say one thing that cracks me up, dude. And it's been a theme through multiple of the stuff. And I hope, Patrick, if you're listening, this fucking comment's for you, buddy. So we joke about, because Patrick has this love affair for all this crazy amount of symbols that he has, and that's his thing. And he's got several different China symbols, which pretty much are ear destroyers, but they crack me up, and it's like, he loves these damn things. So I think he's got like 37 of them on his kit. Anyway, what's funny is, so we get these reviews, and so many people pick out, like, man, the symbol work on this is exquisite. And every time they do that, and he and I share these reviews or read them, he just laughs. He goes, yeah, no one's mentioning your guitar solo, dude, but they fucking love my cymbals. It's the funniest thing. And Jenny's review is all about that. Like, I called them up and had to read them and go, all right, dude, I can't take this anymore. No one's like calling and going, man, the solo and that thing was really cool. They're like, ooh, the China cymbal splash on this song was really cool. I'm like, fucking these cymbals, man, they're like haunting my dreams. But I'm happy for him, dude. It cracks me up every time I see that. It makes me fucking smile. So,
all right. Well, so as far as this record is concerned, man, can you tell us what are some of the themes and stuff that you're talking about on these songs?
Well, they're a bit all over the place. Let's see, the Seraphic Wizard thing came to me as Seraph is, and it's not a religious song, but a seraph is like the little cherub thing that kind of sits on God's throne and overlooks the universe, or overlooks, heaven, all this stuff when doing stuff. Like they're like the little caretakers or whatever. I thought, well, maybe it's a wizard that created the universe, like Merlin or something. So, and he's the caretaker of the universe. So that's hence the name, the Seraphic Wizard thing. So that's kind of what that is about. It's more like the wizard is kind of that thought, and then the movie Excalibur. I don't know if you ever saw that movie from like 1981.
Yeah.
A killer movie. Great theme of Merlin through that whole thing about how he is in touch with the dragon and the caretaker of the earth. And so there's nods to that in there of that song. So that's kind of what that mixture is about. The Running Wild, Running Free thing is more of a kind of a, I'm running from the law, rebellion kind of song, much written in the sense of like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden kind of lyrics, more tongue-in-cheek and slightly goofy, but that's pretty much what that song ended up being about. Psycho-cerebral manipulation came from something that Sean showed me years ago. I was over his house, and we were talking about old 1950s sign-off TV stuff. So when the station would sign off in the 50s, and he had this one thing they showed me on YouTube, whether it's real or not, it's still fascinating, of, where they would play the anthem and the flag would be waving, old black and white footage, 50 stuff. And in the middle of that was a couple frames of like some subliminal message. And it reminded me also of the movie They Lived, the John Carpenter movie. And I thought, man, that's kind of an interesting thing, manipulating people through, their subconscious through all this kind of stuff. And that's kind of what that song ended up being, a combo of what Sean was showing me one night and then this movie. And if you look at the video for it, I put some of that lyrical content in the screen behind us. And as a nod to the movie, I used the font that they used for their Obey and all that stuff in the movie. I put it in the screen.
Hell yeah.
So that's kind of what that song was about.
Hell yeah.
Forever Nevermore is kind of just like what happens, after you die. No one really knows until you get there, for sure. So it's kind of that. What do you do with your last moments of time when when you know your time is almost expired, and where are you going to go and all that stuff? War Eternal, pretty self-evident from that, just mankind's obsession with killing each other, sadly. Very, very, that's probably one of the most aggressive songs that we've ever written. And it's been a song that I've had for almost a decade. Just couldn't figure out how to piece it all together until Patrick joined, and his drum parts pretty much cemented that whole thing. How my brain could hear it, he put it together. Lords of Eden, interesting song there. One of the rare, might be the only time that someone not in Noisecult, being a band member, actually wrote part of the song. So it started as a project with a friend of mine, Pete Kramer, who I used to be in the Creeping Cruds with ages ago. He and I started writing this song, and he had this theme for the lyrics, and I had the music. And then we never finished it. And I asked him, said, hey, I'd really love to use this song on this record. Do you care if I, take the lyrics and finish up the rest of the story and all that stuff? And that's basically about people being oppressed but not realizing it at first. And you're praising your leaders who are oppressing you because you just don't know any better. And at some point you realize, hey, I'm being abused and I'm going to rise up and, fuck these dudes. I want to be free. So the first half of the song is about praising your oppressors because you don't know any better. And the second half it is basically, fuck these guys. I want to be free like everybody else.
Hell yeah.
So that's kind of that. And then I think the last one on there is the Noisecult, which I might be saying incorrectly, but it means Night Witch, and it's an old World War II story of female Russian fighter pilots that were, they basically would do bombing raids on the Germans as the Germans were trying to overtake Russia, when they were first starting to invade Russia. And they weren't allowed to have real planes, so they used old crop dusters and little wooden planes and flew low to the ground. And because they were in these old wooden planes and the Russians could actually see them and hear them, but they would always bomb at night, they just called them the Night Witches. So fascinating story I'd read a long time ago, and just Sean had the music to it. It had an aerial kind of battle vibe to it, and the lyrics just came to me, and then I kind of shared them with Mike, and he and I pieced it all together.
Man.
So I think that's everything on that album.
That is badass.
A little bit of everything.
That is badass, dude. One thing I wanted to ask you about was one of the reviews cracked me up. They were talking about Nashville. Like they were tripping out about the fact that you guys were from Nashville, and I think they were like trying to say that they didn't think that this kind of music could come from there, or I don't know. It was like
it is funny because I guess when people think of it, you're naturally drawn to country music, obviously, but there are so many really good rock and metal and punk bands here over the years that go under the radar, aren't even big here. Look at All Them Witches, this kind of stoner rockish band that is huge all over the fucking place. And but they're not big here. It's like I barely remember them as a club act here, but they're touring all over the world playing festivals and stuff. So there are tons of really good bands out of here of different kind of genres that you just wouldn't think, wow, that band's from Nashville. So yeah, it is kind of funny. I guess it is kind of a stereotype what you think would be here, but yet
It is funny, but yeah, man, there's a lot of fucking cool stuff that comes out of Tennessee, man, for sure.
Yeah, totally. And it ebbs and flows. It's like we've been around so long. I'm fucking old as dirt, and this band's been around almost. God, man, I think we're coming up on our. We're not far from 20 years. Pretty soon. And it's been times when the scene's been really big, and there's been tons of metal bands to play with, and there's shitloads of clubs to play at, and it's then all of a sudden takes a downturn, and the clubs go away, and the bands break up, and there's only a few people left. And then it comes back up. And right now, it's, between COVID and everything else, and the way the club scene is going, it's kind of on a downturn. We don't have the Muse, we don't have the Rutledge. It's like the end finally came back open. But the exit in might go away. Cannery's going away. See what I'm saying? So now, to me, it's like, oh, shit, we're on a downturn as far as places for us, bands to play. Luckily, we still have a few good places. 5 Spot, Springwater, things like that, Cobra. But, yeah, it'll come back, though, I'm sure.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Well, I guess I'm about out of questions for you. Is there anything else you want to let your fans know, man?
Man, we appreciate everybody who's taking the time to listen to our stuff or come see us live, and please keep it up. We'd love to see you come back. I know with the whole COVID thing, everything's starting to open back up. Come back out, support local music, go see your favorite bands. Hopefully we're one of them. Go out and have a good time, and keep music alive. And also, it's like we are on Spotify and iTunes and everything else that you can possibly find us on, but if you want to get physical copies of vinyl, CDs, and all that stuff, go to noisecult.com and there's links in there to get merch. It'll take you to like Bandcamp or our record label Metal Assault in California, and you can buy any product, CDs, T-shirts. We actually have vinyl for the Seraphic Wizard, so first time for the band.
Hell
Go
yeah.
grab some vinyl.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, well, yeah, I got the CD, man, but I'm thinking now I need the vinyl, dude. But yeah, I got the CD, and the record label sent me over a sampler CD also along with it, which has some pretty cool stuff on it too. So it's definitely worth checking out, man.
Yeah, the label's got some really good bands on it. We're pretty pleased. There's and it's all over the place. Thrash metal, punk stuff. He's got Metallica on there. The band that does Metallica, Beatles combo, weird stuff. So there's lots of people that we're looking forward to going to play shows with that are on the label, which we're going to get to do out in California. Bands like Old Blood, stuff like that. So we're pretty pumped about joining that kind of world.
Fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah. All right, man. Well, before I let you go, can I get you to make us a station tag?
Yes.
All right. Whenever you're ready, say something like, "This is Noisecult, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio."
Hey, this is Don from Noisecult, and you are listening to Metal Devastation Radio.
Fuck yeah, dude. Hell yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to us, man, and I really appreciate it, dude. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to blast some more Noisecult for these motherfuckers so they can go crazy, all right?
Awesome. Thanks for having me, dude. Awesome to talk to you. And again, thank you for the years of support, man. Hey. You're awesome. Take care, brother.
Anytime, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Rock on. Talk to you later.
Later, dude. There you have it, folks. Noisecult live on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation motherfucking radio. Like I said earlier, put your speakers fucking everywhere. Make your neighbors fucking hate you, man. If you don't see U-Haul trucks and fucking two guys in a truck tomorrow, you must be living around a bunch of cool motherfuckers, or you ain't cranking it up loud enough. I'm serious, man. Crank it up, dude. Really loud. Like I am right now. All the way.